Just me, a place to be me, where you get to experience life. 'Cause life is a journey, not a guided tour. If you want the rainbow, you have to go through the rain.
Welcome back to another episode of Just Me. This month we've been talking about March Madness and all the hooplas and the ooplas that go along with the mental health and wellness for March Madness. Today we have a special guest, one of our very own of Just Me, Miss Sasha. We're going to be interviewing her on today because today's topic is going to talk about sportsmanship and mental resilience. And we know that along with March Madness, that is one important aspect of the game. Although Sasha doesn't play on any of our college teams, she is involved in a local sport where she plays kickball. So I'm going to let her talk about her team. And then we're going to go in and just ask her some questions about sportsmanship and mental resilience. So go ahead, Sasha. Tell us about your fabulous team.
Yes, yes. So I am, in order to just continue to keep my athleticism and get a better, healthier balance of the personal and professional work-life balance, decided to get involved in recreational league of kickball. And this is my second season doing it, and I really like it. It's fun. Um, it is nice to go out, and I think that we're at an age of maybe like 25 to 45, as far as adults go, and it's while it's competitive, it is healthy, healthy fun, because we're able to get the exercise that we need to keep our hearts good, to keep our stress levels down, to keep our all the physical things that you need, in order to keep your body going. But then also it provides that element of social interaction that a lot of times, we kind of forget that is important when we're going from work to home to family, or from family to work to school to, and we kind of forget that we need to branch out and promote some of those social interactions just to help with our mental and emotional resilience.
Well, thank you. And if you've been watching and following along with March Madness, this is the week of the dance, the Sweet 16. So we saw a lot of upsets throughout the week. And we also saw a lot of sportsmanship, some good and some bad. So when you talk about kickball and how you explain it, you mentioned healthy fun and social interactions. So sometimes, again, because we also know there's a winner and there's a loser in every game, that how do you still maintain healthy fun if you're on the losing side? How does that affect your mental? How does that social interaction, how do you respond socially when again it's neck and neck and it's only 42 seconds left in the game and you behind 3 points and you the person at bat, or in your case at kick? I know I was at one of your previous games, and when the score is tied 2-2 and it's only 5 minutes left, and y'all the last people up the kick, what is
Oof.
actually going through your head at that time? So, the first
Yes.
question to you, Miss Sasha, is kickball can get very competitive. How do you practice good sportsmanship while staying mentally strong under pressure?
First of all, recognizing that, when we are playing the game, especially this most recent game, when we are playing in the game, we're doing it for fun. Okay, so there's not anything riding on us as far as finances, as far as endorsements. So we're doing it for fun. And then also, everyone is a part of the team. So I know that the event I think that you're talking about, Tracy, was when the person in front of me had kicked and bunted, and was able to get to first base. And then the goal was for me to bunt, and for him to, while I was bunting, he was going to be able to get to second base, third base, and home, so that we could get that one extra point. And even though I bunted and I got out, I still was able to advance my partner for the sake of the team. And so that's what.
And you
uh,
did good. You took one for the team, but you did good.
Hey. my sciatic and my hamstring was acting up afterwards. But you know what? We thugged it out. But I think what you were mentioning as far as that sportsmanship and that encouragement, even though I wasn't, or the person wasn't that focal point, it was for the betterment of the team. So that's, I think, what was the most important thing. We all, as a team, we all lose together, we all win together. And so if you are constantly having those negative, that negative mindset of, oh man, well, he could have done this or she could have done that, and continue to have that negative rhetoric of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, then that brings the morale of the team down. Um, the things that we do mess up on are can be viewed as learning opportunities. So, okay, well, we dropped that ball, we missed that ball. All right, so how do we work on practicing to make it better for next time?
And so with that saying with March Madness, it's all about like high stakes moments. Like,
Hmm.
oh my God, people on a lot of stress, they're on edge. Can you share a time when teamwork and fair play helped you navigate a tough or intense kickball game? Once again, can you share a time when teamwork, you all working together, and fair play, which are your morals and beliefs, what's very important to you, what navigates you during difficult situations, how you're able to navigate a tough or intense kickball game.
I would say when the pressure is on, and you're not necessarily up with the score, but you're on the downside of the score. So, and the other team who is up to kick, you recognize their kicking patterns. And so you're working with your team. So we have guys in the outfield that are calling where the plays are in order to help people in the infield recognize, all right, so plays at second base, guys. So when this person does kick, just be mindful that if you do get the ball, let's communicate with each other and make sure that they get the ball or the play to second base. I know that doesn't count as far as with basketball, but when you have teammates that are encouraging you to think about that next step, that next action, because that and all is going to help the overall team. Another thing. We have it's funny to say, but we have fans. We have a team mom, a teammate of ours who is pregnant. So she can't play this season, but she'll be playing next season. She was yelling out, yo, plays that second, to help to encourage us and to remind us and to keep us going. And then also talking to each other with like, yo, I got the ball, so that we know that we're not making silly mistakes of running into each other. Because we are older, okay? We are aging gracefully, but we also know that recovery, as far as hamstrings, as far as strained ankles, anything like that, don't recover at the same rate as when we were in our 20s. So we don't want to get hurt out there. Okay. So just communicating with each other and keeping up the morale. Um, yeah, that's where fair play, teamwork, positive rhetoric comes into play, even if, especially when we're down on the count. So.
Use that keyword communication. I know a lot of our episodes we just talk about how important communication is. So and to be able to understand the plays that's coming, y'all practice, y'all learn strategies and things like that. So as long one person might not see it, but in communicating, I know too in watching the game, normally when it's a bad pass or something, it's because someone wasn't looking, or you hear the commentators say, "Oh, with some poor communication on the floor, with some poor communication on the floor." So even on a softball, on a kickball field, it's important to communicate. But how do you balance having fun and building strong relationship with your teammates while maintaining a competitive mindset? Because you know that song, all I want to do is win, 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 no matter what. You know, we still are very competitive by nature. So
Mhm.
how do you balance that?
Oh, that's tough because everyone comes from a different starting point as far as their competitiveness, and their ability to handle pressure. I know some of the teammates that are on the team, some of them have to listen to music when they're in the dugout or something like that in order to kind of keep and maintain that stress and that pressure. So some of them listen to music, others were actually watching the game on their phones in order to kind of not get so distracted within the high stakes performance that we were doing. So it's learning what to do to help you to manage your stress when you are underneath that pressure. But then also, I think that for us, recognizing that there are areas of improvement. So, yo, you missed that ball. That's okay. That's okay. We're going to get him next time. Um, so that positive attitude, definitely that positive attitude, and recognizing how to control your own emotions when the pressure is on.
And so, with that being said, can you share an example of when sportsmanship, either from you or an opponent, helped shift the energy of a game in a positive way? Once again, can you share an example of when sportsmanship, either from you or an opponent, helped shift the energy of a game in a positive way?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now that I have specifically experienced, but I know that in different sports activities, particularly in basketball, I can recall times where I've been watching basketball and I've seen um, team members from the opposite team, if one player falls on the ground for missing a shot or anything like that, they help them up. And
Mhm.
even though that person is not on your team, still you that positive energy, that gratitude, that can go a long way. You never know what a person is dealing with, and it definitely can reduce some of the mindset of them versus us. Because while it is a game, it is still at the end of the day we're still human. Um, we're still human, if that makes sense.
Well, I
Yeah.
would think you're showing sportsmanship as it relates to respecting others regarding how they're utilizing certain things to help them stay present or help hype them up for the game. You expressed earlier that some people will use music, listening to music. So that you may see that as a distraction, or you may have seen that as while you listen to the music, we're playing a game. So really respecting where people are and what they're utilizing to help them to stay focused within the game. So really respecting people's boundaries and values and beliefs. That's good sportsmanship too.
It's good. So Sasha, what would you say is the biggest mental health benefit you experienced from playing kickball, and how has it helped build resilience in other areas of your life?
Oh, because the first scrimmage that we had this year, on that day, there was just a lot of stress at work that I was experiencing, and I couldn't wait to get on the phone to talk to my friend to really let it all out. And I was like, and I told her, "Girl, I can't wait till after this kickball game. I'm about to call you. I'm about to vent." But after I played the kickball game, all of the stress and my adrenaline just kicked in, and I was able to leave all that stress out on the field. Specifically, elements of irritability and anxiety and worry that I did have because of the work that I was doing earlier, that was all left out on the field, and it just felt really, really good. So
I
I
can.
don't want to go as deep as say that, oh, it helps with anxiety disorders or depressive disorders because everybody is different, but it does help. That physical activity does help to release some of those positive endorphins and release some of that negative cortisol. So,
I just said I could imagine how that ball must have felt. You just kicking
Yes.
it, just releasing it, just kicking it, just kicking it. Because I know how it would feel and how it would look if I was just kicking it.
so
Before before a game, Sasha, what routines or mindset strategies help you stay grounded and mentally prepared?
stretching, stretching for me. I know that some of my teammates will play with their kids just to get warmed up, or play with the kids at the field, just running around kicking the ball. Um, Others will listen to music. Others will run around the parking lot to get warmed up and just to get into to that headspace.
Mhm.
And others will be cracking jokes with each other and having good healthy conversations just to get that energy up. Sometimes we come from a long day at work or a long day at school, and if we continue to bring that energy to the field, it can it can be mistook as negative sportsmanship and negative energy. So just cracking jokes, having a good experience, having a good conversation before the game starts can help to also lift your mood and switch your energy.
Okay. Well, she talked about before the game. What about during the game? How do you handle frustrations and setbacks? Because I mean, sometimes those refs, I don't know what game they be watching, but they be making calls from the other field. They don't even really be having it. So, how do you handle frustrations, setbacks, or disagreements, and still try to be respectful, have a respectful attitude?
Yeah, yeah. It goes back to what we were saying in our last episode is that viewing it as an opportunity to grow and to learn. Now, is it going to happen all the time? Absolutely not. Are your emotions going to get the best of you sometimes? Absolutely, especially when you don't agree with a call or a play. However, it's being able to catch yourself and, if need be, circling around, apologizing for what you said or how you responded, because we're all learning, we're all growing. And so that's how, giving yourself grace, giving yourself grace, but then also recognizing that, taking that constructive criticism. If someone is saying, yo, you might have went too hard, or maybe you shouldn't have said that, or how did your response impact other people? Really being able to take a step back and have that self-awareness and receive that criticism to make improvements on how you respond to other people and manage your emotions, handle your emotions. So
Mhm.
So when it comes to after a game, I know we talked about before and during a game. After a game, win or lose, how do you reflect on your performance, show gratitude, and keep a positive perspective moving forward?
I talk to my teammates, but I also think there's an element of maturity amongst all of us to recognize and receive that criticism, to say, "Hey, what happened with that? What happened with that play out there?" Or make sure you don't, do a premature move in the game that can get us caught up. Being able to receive that feedback. So talking to my teammates has definitely helped me, and it's helped me to be able to receive criticism in other areas of my life, because not only am I having to interact with people out on the field and on a part of a team, um, in my professional life, I have to interact with people and I have to work a part of a team. So whatever practice I can get in different aspects of my life has always been helpful.
Mhm. Well, that's appreciated, Sasha. You heard it from one of our very own, just me. And when I say just me, Sasha even represents us on the field and they nice uniforms. It's just me on the back. So we out there represented. But Sasha, can you go ahead and share the name of the kickball team and your game schedule so maybe some of our listeners can come out and even relax and support the cause because it's a really good relaxing thing. There will be multiple games that's usually playing.
Yes, absolutely. So we are Big Kicks, and it's with Guilford County Parks and Recreations, the Kickball League. And we usually have our games on Monday nights, either at 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. Next Monday, our game is going to be at 8:30. We're called Big Kicks. So it's going to be at Carolyn Park, Recreation Park in Greensboro, North Carolina. So come holla at us, check us out. And get ready to have a good time. Good, healthy, clean fun.
Well, that's all right. And also, speaking of fun, y'all know this week is the dance. It's the Sweet 16 dance. And on Thursday, it starts the dance. So we got Alabama versus BYU. We got Florida versus Maryland. We got Duke versus Arizona. We got Texas Tech versus Arkansas. And on Friday, you got Michigan State versus Ole Miss, Tennessee versus Kentucky, Auburn versus Michigan, and Houston versus Purdue. And I sure hope your team is in it because I know mine is. So go Duke. So until next time, take care of yourself so you can take care of others. Bye
Yay. Bye,
bye.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Just Me Therapy podcast. If you are seeking further one-on-one diagnoses, interventions, and treatment plans, please consider scheduling an appointment with an individual counselor at Journeys Counseling Center, located in Greensboro, North Carolina. Journeys can be reached at 336-294-1349. The mission of Just Me Therapy podcast is to use authentic conversations to uplift one's mind, body, and soul. The goal of Just Me Therapy is to offer affordable education and insight to individuals who experience financial barriers to accessing individualized behavioral health care services. With that being said, the information, including opinions, advice, and recommendations discussed in this podcast, are intended for individual, informational, and educational purposes only. Such information is not intended to substitute the recommendations of your own licensed therapist or healthcare professional. Although we are licensed behavioral health professionals, we are not your licensed behavioral health professional. As a result, the advice mentioned on this podcast should not replace the recommendations offered by your own qualified health professional.